Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. We have people from around the world here. This is excellent. Welcome to this panel on quality in developing countries. My name is Edwin Garro. I am an academician from Costa Rica. Let me introduce first the International Academy for Quality. This is a great year for us because it's been 60 years since the International Academy for Quality was founded. And it was founded by these three superheroes that we see here: Feigenbaum, Ishikawa, and Massing. So representation of the three largest quality organizations in the world: the American Society for Quality, Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers, and the European Organization on Quality. We are an independent, non-profit, peer-elected academy. We are self-supported, non-governmental organization composed of the world's most respected quality thought leaders and practitioners elected by peers. It's a nice group, and academicians are invited, not self-nominated, from Asia, the Americas, and Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Currently with members from over 45 countries. Okay, so what do we do? What is it so good to be part of the International Academy for Quality? Well, advancing quality through collaboration and influence. Members contribute collaboratively via AAQ think tanks, shaping world quality thinking and practice. We focus on what's happening in the world, and we support national quality movements worldwide and applies quality principles to governance, healthcare, education, standards, compliance, and applied statistics. So it's very simple. For us, quality is everything. And we can help through quality to solve any problem in the world. That's the way we see the world. So let me check my notes here for a second. And let's see this artificial intelligence generated picture that I have here. And this is the reality of quality in developing countries. Okay, the problem is not that we live in a different century. The problem is not, or the characteristic or the issue of our countries is not that we are uncivilized or something like that. The problem is variation. Variation. In this picture, we can see that across the street from a world-class research center, there's a slum. So that's exactly what happens in our countries. So we can have in the same neighborhood, we can have a Nobel Prize living in the neighborhood, and then across the street, people who never had the chance to go to school. So, does it mean that we desperately need help? No, it means that we have something to say in quality. It means that we have a different way to collaborate with the world. And when I say that our issue is huge amounts of variation, if we start to see the world as it is today, uncertainty and variation is everywhere. So let me introduce you today's panel. So once again, this is me, Edwin, from Costa Rica. Very small country, by the way, because when we see the next three countries, wow, are we talking big countries here? So in this panel today, we're going to have Evandro Lawrence from Brazil. And Evandro is a Brazilian electrical engineer and mathematician with advanced studies in automation, engineering, and business management. He spent over 30 years at Uzi Minas, a major Brazilian integrated steel producer, leading projects in real-time systems, industrial automation, ISO 9001 and 14001 certification, and PMO implementation. With international experience across Japan, Latin America, Europe, and Asia, he's a professor, consultant, author, ASQ fellow, IAQ member, and global advocate for quality. So thank you, Evandro. Then we have Dr. Kamran Musa here. Uh, Dr. Musa is Chief Executive of PIQC of Quality, Pakistan. Pakistan, people, big country, huge country. Professor, experienced researcher, international trainer, consultant, author, and advisor to national institutions in the field of total quality management, quality engineering, and quality management. He's a member and academician of the International Academy for Quality. He received the Ishikawa Kano Silver Medal from the Asian Network for Quality in 2020 and the Regional Productivity Award from the Asian Productivity Organization Japan in 2021. Thank you, Dr. Musa. And another small country and another small company. We have Devraj Shataraj from India, largest country in the world in population, and a tiny company, right, Devraj? Tata, 1 million employees. Okay, so Devraj is general manager of Tata Business Excellence Group, where he leads best practices and benchmarking programs, enabling learning, sharing, and implementation of excellence practices across Tata companies. I don't know how you do it. He supports operational excellence through interventions in process, quality, supply chain, project management, and knowledge management. A former Tata Motors quality leader, he is experienced in TBEM assessments, TQM, Lean, Six Sigma, EPM, and Balance Scorecard. He's an ASQ certified manager of quality and operational excellence and a strong advocate of world-class quality. So we have a wonderful panel. And let me add one information here. Between these three countries, we have a quarter of the world population represented here today. A quarter of the world population. And if we add my country, Costa Rica, we still have 1/4 of the world population. I don't, we don't move the needle. Okay, so let us start with Dr. Musa. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The first question is this. What if the biggest myth about quality in developing countries is that they are behind when they may be more adaptive and innovative? And the second question is, how does informality, accelerate agility and learning? So, Dr. Musa, you have 10 minutes. I know you're going to use your own presentation, so please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Edwin, for the nice introduction. I would now like to go ahead and give my views on the issue of quality in developing countries. Particularly, I would like to use the examples and cases from Pakistan, since I've been involved in the field of quality for the last more than 35 years, I will be, sharing with you some of the examples. As far as Pakistan is concerned, the Made in Pakistan, there are a lot of aspects, a lot of products globally popular or at least nationally popular. And these areas, the industrial areas, are textile and leather, automobile, aviation industry, defense industry, surgical instruments, sports goods, pharmaceutical, food industries, among others. You know, but before I go into the examples of uh, supporting my point of view, first of all, uh, I would like to answer directly as the key points of your questions. The behind myth, what it really matters. Behind, you mentioned that. Uh, the myth assumes quality is a product of stability. Developing countries show that it is also often the product of pressure. We don't basically, if we are unstable in many aspects, as you mentioned, but because of the pressure, there are also many aspects. They come and produce quality. Second is developing countries do not need ideal conditions to achieve quality, although they are preferable, but they are not necessary. They need the right incentive structures and market accountability. Third, the global quality community should stop using stable economy benchmarks as the default lens. If the country is stable, it will produce quality is again one of the aspects of myths. Instead, it should study developing economies also as adaptive systems that reveal how quality emerges under constraints. Living under constraints produce some innovative type of qualities. Of course, there are negative aspects to it also, but then there are also positive aspects to it. But the implication is quality frameworks built only for stable environments are incomplete frameworks. So many of these TQM or Six Sigma or other programs or Kaizen we see assume that there are stable frameworks are required, stable environment is required. And we have to spend a lot of time in focusing on the environmental aspects or cultural aspect of organizations. The second question you asked is about informality. Is informal means poor quality? There is also a positive aspect to informality, the unrecognized quality engine. Informal systems are not the enemy of quality. They are many times its incubator. Quality institutions born bottom up can be more durable than those imposed top down. We see a lot of examples, which I'll be giving you later on. The bottom up approach, industry, the way they manage themselves rather than waiting for the policies and so forth, also have positive aspects. The implication, the quality management theory needs a new chapter that treats informal to formal transitions as a legitimate development pathway. So we do need in our frameworks of quality how the informal system to formal systems are established. And that's where one of the vacuum is there. The real question is not how to formalize informal systems, but how to support the conditions that allow them to generate quality. So we have to work on the condition which generate quality. Now, in terms of quality in Pakistan, in my region, in my country, there are many products where there are globally acknowledged. Pakistani manufacturers compete globally across few sectors demanding rigorous quality compliance. For example, one of the success factor is automobile assembly. 128,000 vehicles assembled in 2024. That is 48% over the fiscal year 2023. The OEMs here in this country are Toyota, Honda, Suzuki, Hyundai, MG, all operating in Pakistan. And around 800 to 900 their suppliers are there. And they meet the UN, ECE, and international safety emission standards. Local parts, localization of parts is 50 to 70% across major OEMs, and they are accepted worldwide. In food and agriculture, $7.1 billion food exports are there, rice, and similarly other cotton and halal food, and then fruits, mango, citrus, growing premium export categories. In aviation and defense sector, we have aircraft manufacturing, aircraft rebuild factories. There are 4 or 5 factories there in Pakistan. One of the indigenous manufactured aircraft is JF-17, which they have 150 units have been produced so far in the last few years. We have ordnance factories of defense products exporting to 40 countries, and we have many nuclear technology also is there, which was built since late 80s and so forth. We have textile and leather with $17 billion export, 54% of Pakistan's total national export earning. There are various segments or cities in the countries. One of the popular cities, Faisalabad, which they call it Manchester of Asia. There are 10,000 plus textile units there, and they're all certified to various international OKI, TEX, GOTS, ISO 9000, and suppliers are from around the world, Zara, Primex, Next, H&M, and so forth. Similarly, we have surgical instruments, one of the most popular and advanced area. The sector is, the city is called Sialkot. 75 to 80% of the world manual surgical instruments are produced in Pakistan in the sector Sialkot. 1.8 billion.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay?
Yes. Okay. And similarly, pharmaceuticals, sports goods, and public services, there are various aspects. The biggest myth in developing countries is behind on quality or ahead of adaptation. The myth is developing countries lack the discipline or systems to meet international quality standards. There's a logical flaw. Quality is basically a function of will, not wealth. Export, market, enforce standard regardless of geography, and they have no sympathy for excuses. So reality is in Sialkot, for example, 75 to 80%, as I said, the world manual surgical instruments are produced, and 140 countries buy from here. Similarly, another myth is developing countries cannot build or sustain world-class institution. There's also a logical flaw. World-class performance is measurable. Therefore, Pakistan has been measured externally, not self-declared. And similarly, in many developing countries as well, quality is only achievable with stable infrastructure. This is also not true all the time. And there's a myth that digital systems in developing countries will always lag behind. There are so many examples of strong digital systems. So 4 myths, 4 data-backed realities. The question is no longer whether developing countries can achieve quality. It is why the many international quality community has been slow to learn from them. The extra burden, of course, there is efficiency tax to this. The double burden. World highest electricity rates are here, built on robustness, forced self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency is forced, not by choice. Unique resilience is there. Less vulnerable to global supply chains shocks, and already accustomed to managing extreme variation. So a lot of skills are built because of this variations. The competitive gap, cost of doing business, 34% is higher than regional peers. Every made in Pakistan product is equal to higher managerial effort for the same quality output. The informality as an accelerator, how informal system drive quality learning. Informal apprenticeships networks, they are faster than any training programs. Master apprenticeships, knowledge transfer, no classroom needed. Output meets ISO, various ISO standard and FIFA standards, 17 manufacturer which were there in 1947, now 25,000 certified units are there. Informal supply chain flexibility, resilience under disruption. That means informal networks activate instantly when formal chains break. Substitute material and improvised logistics keeps lines running. A resilience mechanism, not a workaround. And then informal cluster collaboration, one of the stronger cluster management, speed without bureaucracy. 25,000 units share tooling innovations or quality fixes together. They made their own airport, the triports and all these things. And then informality graduating into institution, and so forth. So just last point, adaptation as innovation, not just survival. Strategy one is the resilience through backup systems. We create backup systems which are not normal in the developed countries. This leading Pakistani industries internalize entire utility system, shielding production from external shocks. Captive power plants, solar generators, also for those sort of things. Private water treatment and purifications are developed. So forced self-reliance has made Pakistani textile and pharma firms among the most operationally resilient manufacturers in the developing world. The second strategy is craft-based precision versus mass automation. The skill element is very strong, compared to the automation. Of course, it has its own benefits. Cluster-based institutional self-organizations. The strategy is no governmental intervention. We wait for industry collectively establish CMAP for quality standards, governance, and so forth. So works best where cluster density plus export pressure plus social cohesion aligns together. Harder to replicate, that's the problem in dispersed. So we have a replication problem. Key principles are quality institutions born bottom up, not imposed top down. The road ahead, just from island of excellence to systemic quality. Although our quality success is real, but concentrated in few. The next frontier is scaling quality from cluster to systems. The island of excellence exists. The task is to connect them. Hybrid systems, which are informal agility plus formal rigor, that makes the working together, and that's the ideal system. This is the quality management frontier for developing countries and the global quality. The lesson.
Excellent, Kamram. Your time is up.
Just
So this is
one last slide.
wonderful. Okay, last slide. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. The lesson for the global quality community: managing extreme variation is not a lesser form of quality management. It may be the most advanced form of it. Variation is not failure, it is the operating condition. Informality is not weakness, it is the incubator of institutions. Internalization is not inefficiency, it is resilience by design. Developing countries are not students of quality, they are its frontier. Thank you very much, and sorry for a little late. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kamram. So, loud and clear, Pakistani quality is organic, is human, and is world class. Will,
Thank you.
not wealth. I love that phrase. Will, not wealth. And of course, there are challenges. All right. So, building on that, let's go to the brush. And let me share with you, Debraj, your two questions. First question is, which Western quality assumptions do not hold in developing contexts? And the second question is, many quality models assume predictability, governance, and consistency. From your experience, which of these assumptions break down and what replaces them?
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, IAQ, for creating the significant forum. and on a very relevant theme, as Edwin already mentioned at the start, quality in developing countries. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the members of IAQ and who have joined today's session. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary for IAQ, so it's a very significant forum to share my thoughts. But first of all, I think let me share my opening perspective and let me try to challenge the narrative that we are trying to build over here. Because I think, as Mr. Kamran also mentioned, when we speak about quality in developing countries, we often imply deficient, right? Something yet to be achieved. But I think all of us who are in these countries are doing fantastically well. And as Edwin mentioned, there could be variations which we need to address. But I think we have best practices, innovative things that are happening across, right? But what if developing countries are not behind the quality curve, but ahead of it, right? Because they have learned to deliver quality without the luxury of stability, predictability, and perfect governance, right? So hence, I think it is very important today that how the quality is getting redefined, from the previous definition, ISO definitions of quality, to how to become more resilient. When we are trying to redefine the quality. So most global quality models were designed for, as we know, orderly systems, right? Many developing countries don't operate in those stable systems. They operate in very productive disorder. So the question is not whether the quality survives there. The real question is what quality looks like when resilience matters more than compliance, right? So I think that's what is the context that I wanted to set. That it's more about resilience today, and it's good to be within the variation, within the chaos, and then come out as a resilient organization or as a resilient country, right? So as I think Edwin asked me that which Western quality assumptions do not hold in developing context. So I have 3 points over here, three assumptions basically. The first assumption is about stable and homogeneous operating conditions. So Western, the models developed, countries often assume that quality will operate in there when there is a reliable infrastructure, predictable supply chains, uniform workforce capabilities, skills, competences, right? But that doesn't happen when you come to the other part of the world in the developing countries, and there the organizations frequently operate amid there's a power volatility, there's connectivity volatility, right? There are fragmented supplier ecosystems, right? Then there is wide variety variability actually in skills, languages, and socio-economic backgrounds, right? So it's kind of changing perspective in the developing countries. So the assumption of the countries which have been practicing quality for so long may not hold true, right? So the insight is that quality is not achieved through the control alone, but I think it is about how do we achieve it through adaptive resilience, right? So that's one message that I wanted to put forward too. The second assumption is that process compliance is equal to quality, right? That is what we have been taught for, right? First of all, you have to achieve compliance, standardization, then only we look for improvement, right? So if we are not complying to the process characteristics, then we're not maintaining quality. So strict adherence to the standardized processes, the audit driven conformity, these are the things that we have learned from the great quality gurus. But in the developing context, right, in the developing countries, developing economies, outcomes sometimes matter more than procedural purity, especially where customers prioritize availability, affordability, and speed, right? So let me give an example, like today's example actually. So it's very easy here. It's very hot over here in India today, 41, 42 degree Celsius temperature, where right now I am, which is in the western part of the country. So I want to order something for home, and I can quickly order it through the app, e-commerce, quick commerce app, right? In 7 minutes or within 10 minutes, the grocery items or any other items, can get delivered, right? So it is availability is there throughout 24/7. Availability is there. You can order anytime. It can come, to your home. Affordability is also there. I have many apps, many such quick commerce companies. Affordability is there. I can afford as well. They give a lot of discounts as well. Things are available the way I want. And obviously the speed is there, right? Within 7 to 10 minutes, wherever you are in the city, the things get delivered, right? But then, one of the item that I got today, out of several items that I ordered, was not meeting the expectations of the way I wanted that particular item, right? So I can go to the quickly, I just went to the app quickly, just raise the complaint and just attach the photo that the things are not expect as per the expectations, and quickly, within 1 minute, it got refunded. The amount got refunded, right? Now, there could be variations, right? It is like when you're going to the grocery shop and you're picking up, let's say, some mangoes or some bananas or something, some spices or something, you can look at it, you can choose, but that takes a lot of time, right? You have to go out, right? But when, I'm using this quick commerce app, there could be, this kind of variations. Sometimes the items may not come as per expectations, but then there is an affordability, there's an availability, there is a speed, and I'm okay. If there is, one thing that has not come as per the expectations, I can get the full refund quickly within 1 minute, right? So it's okay, because the customers perceive the value in that way, right? It's not about standardized process. Okay, if you have to do a return, you have to come here. We will take 24 hours to refund. Not like that. It's 1 minute to get the refund, or you can reorder, right? So I think that is what is the value that the customer defines for, and hence quality is getting redefined by the way that the customer perceives the value. Right. So that's one, I think, aspect. The third aspect that I want to highlight is that the assumption of customer expectations being explicit and stable, right? Customers, we assume that customers are going to articulate the requirements very well. Yeah, we are going to get all these things written down, and then they will have stable value perceptions, right? Value perceptions are stable and not changing. Preferences are not going to change. It's a kind of an assumption that we live with, right? And based on that, we develop our services or the products. But in the emerging markets or the developing, markets, economies, customers may not articulate the expectations very clearly, right? They may not articulate, right? And value perceptions also is not a constant. It's not stable. It's not standard, right? It evolves rapidly as affordability and access improve, right? So quality definitions are not stable. Quality definitions are emergent, not fixed. So let me give another example, which I'm sure many of us would have experienced in the airports, in the best of the best airports. But in India, we have one thing very affordable, very accessible. Actually, not affordable and simple, but at the scale is Digi Yatra. Digi Yatra is basically what Digi Yatra is. Digi Yatra is like they have mapped the entire customer journey of a passenger when they are coming to the airport, and let's say going to get the boarding pass and then board the aircraft, right? So if you look at the entire journey, if you look at it, which are the pain points that the passenger would be having. One is that at the entry itself, right? When you're at the departure gate, you have to show your ID, you have to be in the queue, right? There are a lot of questions, right? But then, this app, which is a government app, actually you can, upload your boarding pass 24 hours before, and then within 24 hours as well, and you can upload your government ID as well. and have a facial recognition and just go to the airport, departure gate, just use the facial recognition. Within seconds, you are in. And also, in the security area as well, it will allow you to get inside using the same facial recognition. And within a few minutes, you are at the boarding gate, right? So that's the way, the customer sees the value, right? But then whether these were very articulated at the start, when let's say, government thought about it, whether the customers, explicitly talked about it, articulated these requirements in a standard way, and was the value proposition stable that time, right? So these were like unsaid, needs, unsaid requirements, right? But then, we have to understand these things, and then based on this, the government has developed this, and then when the customers have started experiencing this, I think they saw a lot of value. And even if there were some glitches, let's say at the start of the journey of this, customers were okay, because they're knowing that, it's going to improve, the way implementations are going to happen. Now today, if you see, it is across 24 to 28 airports in India, and I think this is growing at a 44%, 45%, CAGR. Every, I think, day, almost 30,000 to 40,000 passengers are downloading this app and using this app actually. And it has made the journey very, very convenient, very accessible, also quickly accessible. App works superb, right? But then, these are the things that we probably, never thought about, right? So quality definitions are emergent, not fixed. That is what, my the third perspective would be. And to close it off, I think the other question that is talked about, I think this is all I spoke about. Predictability actually uh, is is uh, is what replaces here in the developing economies. It's more about, scenario thinking. What could be the possible scenarios? How do I prepare for it? What are the learning from the past, experiences, and how can I become more resilient, right? So that's one, I think. And more rapid, local problem solving is another. I think the assumptions that I think get broken. So it is not that always you have to take a lot of time to, learn from the problems that you have solved. How can we rapidly, solve problems using our knowledge of the past? How we can become more resilient, and the concept of fail fast is very important. You can fail, but fail fast, learn from it, and then, go to the next experimentation, right? The other
Yeah,
one is, I
Devraj,
think,
this is
yeah,
so
the last one.
wonderful. This,
The
yeah, last
last
one. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
the last one, the key takeaways, the few seconds. I think the quality frameworks that we have been, exposed to, we have been taught for so many years, right? There are many quality gurus. They have developed these frameworks. They remain foundation, right? It's not that, they are not valid. They are very much valid. They are basic, you know, things that we should have. They are foundational things that we should be always looking forward to, right? If we don't have the foundation ready, then we cannot work on those, innovations, and all this thing, right? So, however, in developing context, I think quality maturity is expressed differently. So, what are those? From control to resilience,
Mhm.
from compliance to outcomes, from predictability to adaptability, and from formal governance to social trust. So, in a volatile world, what we once viewed as developing country conditions may soon be the global norm, and in that future,
Exactly.
quality will be
Exactly.
defined not by control and perfection, but by resilience. Thank you, Edwin, for allowing me some time to close my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, resilience matter more than compliance. I love that phrase. And you're right, resilience is a reality of the world, the whole world. So yes, thank you very much, Debraj. Excellent, excellent. Thanks a lot. And now we're gonna go to Evandro, and we're gonna take this conversation to innovation and constraint. So Evandro, thank you very much for being here. And here are your two questions. Where have low resource environments forced breakthroughs mature economies overlooked? And we know about that, right? And the second question is, please share examples where scarcity, scale, or instability produce solutions that traditional quality systems fail to develop. The floor is yours, Evandro.
Thank you very much. Nancy, could you help me, please, about the presentation, if you don't mind?
Yeah, okay. So, do you have your presentation with you?
I sent to you in
Yeah,
the
you want me
morning.
to share it, okay?
I will share
Thank
it,
you.
Edwin, from my side. Just give me a second.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just to remind everyone, so while we're still waiting for the presentation to be pulled up by Nancy, so please feel free to share your questions or insights right here in the chat box, or you can also use the Q&A feature that we have.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Thank you, Nancy.
Just I need to put it in.
I have a little problem with my voice, and during the panel, I need to drink some water. I apologize.
Okay,
Let's
Evandro,
go next.
we're ready. Yeah.
Please. Good morning. Next, please. Nancy, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I would like to thank the International Academy for Quality, and especially to academician Edwin Garrow for this opportunity to be part of this panel. Edwin, let's have a coffee. Edwin, let's make this panel an adventure. Edwin, let's read books. Next, please.
Thank you.
Brazil is a country of contrasts. Why? Operating an environmental with high variability in infrastructure, institutions, and in the economy. Okay, my voice. Stability cannot always be assumed, and trust levels may fluctuate. This creates a very different context for quality in Brazil. Next, please. Next, please. In many mature economies, quality is about optimizing a stable system. There is a widely accepted belief, especially in developed countries, that quality depends on wealth. Sounds reasonable. In Brazil, and in many developing countries, I agree, quality is often something else because they lack resources. In this context, quality is not about optimization. It's about resilience. It's about the ability to perform, learn, and improve under conditions and same predictable conditions. So the question is not How do we optimize? The question is also, how do we remain effective when the system is itself stable? Then let's answer the question 1. Next, please. In environments with limited resources, like Brazil, innovation is not a choice, it's a necessity. And this necessity drives a different kind of thinking. It forces us to focus in what really matters. It forces simplification. And it creates solutions, excuse me, that are more accessible, scalable, and adaptable. In this context, innovation is not about complexity. It's about design for reality. It's about delivering value with minimum necessary resources. And of this leads to solutions that are not only efficient, but also inclusive and robust. This is where what we call frugal innovation or constraint-based innovation becomes very important. Next, please. Answering the second question from Edwin. Brazil, we have several strong examples where scarcity, where scale and stability do not create problems. They create capabilities. The first one, next, please, is the PIX. One of the most powerful examples is our Brazilian digital banking. Brazilian developed PIX, a real-time payment system that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's fast, it's low cost, and widely accessible. Today, millions of people, including those who are excluded from the financial system, can send and receive money instantaneously. It combines scale, inclusion, and reliability, and that many mature economies are still training to achieve. Look, in Brazil, PIX value integrity is absolute. $10 will always be $10. In the card ecosystem, however, banking fees erode value. After 108 transactions, that same $10 is completely drained into the banking system. Then you have some problem about MasterCard and Visa. The second example, please, is healthcare. Public hospitals in Brazil often operate under strong conditions, limited resources, rate demand, and constant pressure. Many institutions have developed many creative ways to manage patient flow. Their systems are not always formally. They are not always fully documented, but they work. That's the matter. They are practical, adaptive, and effective under pressure. This challenges a traditional assumption in quality. The standardization is always the starting point. In same contexts, adaptation came first. Standardization may came later. Then is the paradigm shift. From standardization came first to adaptation came first. The third case, please, is industry. Companies frequently deal with unstable supply chains, infrastructure limitations, you call Brazil cost, and economic fluctuations. As a result, they develop strong capabilities in flexibility, rapid decision-making, and problem-solving. Plus, need to change quickly. Decisions cannot always wait for perfect data. Solution must be practical and immediate. This creates a culture of action and faster learning cycles. Just please, the case 4. Brazil has one of the largest and most complex judicial system in the world. High volume of cases and constant pressure. Limited resources. Thank you. Limited resources, constant pressure. In this context, the system had to adapt. Brazil accelerate the digitalization of all judicial processes, electronic case management, remote hearings, online access. What was physical, slow, and fragmented become increasingly digital and accessible. And the last, the ultimate case, please. Our agribusiness. Brazil became one of the most productive agricultural producers in the world by adapting to tropical conditions considered unsuitable. This required innovation in soil correction. This required tropical seeds and large-scale operation. It was not a simple transfer of existing models. It was the creation of new ones. Across of, please, the next, please. Across of this example, we see a pattern. Scarcity, scale, and stability do not create problems. They create capabilities. Capabilities like resilience, adaptability, speed, and practical problem solving. And these capabilities are becoming essential because the world itself is teaching. Perhaps quality is not only about reducing variation. Perhaps today is also managing variation. And in this sense, countries like Brazil are opening the frontier of a different kind of quality, managing variation. Brazil do not innovate despite of our conditions. Brazil innovates because of them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Evandro. I have two great messages here. Frugal innovation. I love that. And not only reduce variation, manage variation. So excellent. Thank you very much to our three panelists. And we have time for a couple of questions. I'm gonna read the question and I'm gonna ask the panelists to answer, any of you guys. So the first question is this: in developing countries, government projects often suffer from poor contractor performance due to weak oversight and low accountability. What performance-based contracting models can help improve outcomes? Maybe the Brash is the right guy
Yeah.
to answer this question.
I'll
Go
try.
ahead.
I'll try for sure. So first of all, I think the main issue is that why there is a poor performance of the contractor, right? I think that is the first issue that we should be attacking, right? So are we building the capabilities, skills, competencies of the contractor? What is our let's say selection criteria, selection process? How do we ensure that they believe in the shared goal, right? It's not that they're contractor, they're part of the process. They are also making something. If they're in construction, they're doing something, right? They have a vision, right? Like the government is having the vision to build something, that they would have also the shared vision, right? Unless
Yes.
I think there's a buy-in, right? We are going to see there's a difference, right? They are here for coming day in day out and doing something, but not able to relate to the bigger vision. I think that's what I think is the one aspect that we need to work on. The other aspect is that instead of a bureaucratic, I would say, oversight, uh, it's weak, right? It doesn't work, right? As you mentioned in the question. So we need to replace this with financial accountability, right? So if we have the financial accountability to improve cost efficiency or service quality or delivery discipline, I think if the performance is getting measured on those parameters, I'm sure they will be much more concerned about delivering a superior quality job. Yeah, that's my perspective.
Yes, yes.
I
Guys, in Spanish it's very difficult to translate the word accountability, but accountability of the government. Yes, I agree with you. Kamram, you want to say something about this question also?
Yeah, one of the policies in the government is to buy from the one of the lowest bidders of the three bidders, you know. And for years, the governments have not been able to, and they think, rather than developing and choosing in Japanese firms that we have here, many of them, they only get one supplier for one product. But then the contracts are developed in such a manner, that they get the premium also if they provide the good services, and they are, they reduce the prices of the things that they are delivering. Now, one of the suppliers I know, was complaining that I did a lot of, improvements, and I showed to my, OEM. But then rather than, they appreciated, the OEM appreciated, but then they said, okay, since you have improved your process and reduced the cost, I will cut the cost from the price that I'm giving you the price. And he was astonished that why you are, but then they showed the contracts are very important, They develop them. In our cases, in most of the cases, we don't have the development of the contractors, and we don't have measurement system to measure the performance, the KPIs. Those things are there. So I think just displaying the KPIs, displaying the quantitative, reduces the dialogues and debates among both the parties. If you have good system of performance evaluation, an honest system of measurement, and displaying to all these vendors, of course,
Mhm.
that will improve, the supplier performance as well.
Excellent, excellent.
I support to what Mr. Kamaran said. It is not cost based selection. It has to be QCBS,
Yes.
quality and cost based selection. Right.
Okay, so we have a second question that is basically the same. So it's like you guys answered both questions. So thank you very much to the panelists. Thank you for this. Oh, go ahead,
Just a message.
Evandro.
Oh,
Yes.
just a message. I agree with my colleagues of the panel, and I'd like to remember Taguchi. I am a Taguchi's fan.
Good.
We need just an explanation. We need to reduce variation. but we need first, in some case, manage valuation
Yes,
to
sir.
go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
just one
Thank
point, Edwin, just one point. This
Okay.
the changes which are coming along are data-based performance, rather than process, documentation-based. We are now using more the data, and then all things are converting into measuring the data, reporting the data, analyzing the data, and large data and small data. So I think this conversion, digitalization, is very much supporting, the performance of within the organization and also with the customer suppliers. I mean,
Yes.
okay,
I
that's
understand,
it.
but in the real life, maybe you need to start the action, né, and study after.
Yes. Guys, I'm so proud of being part of this organization and having this conversation with you guys. I feel privileged about having this conversation. So thank you very much. This has been a great day. It's been a great discussion. So looking forward to more discussions about this and other subjects. Thank you to all the participants. It's
Thank
been
you.
a great hour. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you
Okay,
all. Thank you.
okay,
Thank you. Thank
bye-bye.
you all. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure.